Welcome everyone, this is DN Health, where bodies take shape. This is video 2 of our Fit Body on a Budget, back and bis. We have Dan over here, he's going to be starting with a 5x5 on bent over rows. What's important with this exercise is you always want to go a little bit heavier. Because we're doing a 5x5 here, we want to just do a little bit heavy on our compound exercises to really build some strength and load up on thickness for the back. As you can see, he just did his first set right now. The first set, you guys just want to remember form. We don't want to get injured with this. You really want to protect your back. If you have a weight belt, use it. If not, you just want to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe. With this exercise, you always want to make sure that your back is straight. So when you bend over, keep your knees a little bit bent. And make sure your back is straight, your shoulders are back. You don't want to arch your back because that's how you injure your spine. We don't want to do that. So just keep everything straight. As you can see, every movement is slow and controlled. You lift the weight up, tight and squeeze, and then down slow with control. And you just continue that through our exercises. In this case, we're doing 5x5, and again, that's mostly strength training. And we're just trying to build up the strength and add some thickness to our back. Now, right now we're using a Smith rack. If you're at home and you don't have a Smith rack, you just have a free barbell, feel free to use that. Another alternate, if you don't have a barbell, is you can use dumbbells, and you just do it in the same fashion, bent over, and same thing, keep your back straight, and then lift slow with control. So squeeze, 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 and squeeze. So as you can see, we're not using extreme weights right now. We're just trying to show you guys the form. But in your case, use a challenging weight. Don't go too light because you don't want to do this exercise for nothing. Again, this is a strength building exercise, so make sure you challenge yourself. And it looks like we're going on to the next workout.
All right, exercise 2 is going to be pull-ups, 4 sets of 10. All right. Ben and I just swapped out for this one because Ben's trying to get his pull-up numbers up, so he wants to do this exercise, so we'll let him. All right, so notice how he's got some wide grip. All right, comes up nice and slow, good contraction. All right. You want to really squeeze these lats out while you're doing this. Nice and controlled. Notice he's not swinging his body up. All right. Now, for some of you who can't do pull-ups, all right, there's some other options available. If you have a gym with a assist machine where you put your knees on it and it helps you do your pull-up, that's a good option. If you don't have that available to you, then start with lat pull-downs. All right, work your way up on your lat pull-downs until you can get almost to your body weight. All right, and then start working on pull-ups. Even if you can only do 1 or 2 at a time, that's fine. Do the 1 or 2. And then hang there for about 20 to 30 seconds as long as you can, and then rest and do another set, all right? Because we want to be able to build up to where we can do this 3 and 4 sets of 10 on pull-ups. This is one of Ben's favorite exercises, so he was all excited to do pull-ups. Set number 3. All right. Got one more set. Even though Ben's a beast at the pull-ups, it even affects him once you're doing this short rest time. All right. Give yourself enough time to rest. If you feel like you're going too quick to where you can't get your full set in, then give yourself a little bit of extra time to rest. And if you can only do, say, 6, 7, 8, you can't quite hit that 10 in a row yet, do a rest pause set. So do as many as you can, rest for about 30, 45 seconds, and then knock out your last 2 or 3, however many you have left. right, last set. It's challenging. Pull-ups are the real deal. All right, so we talked about that rest pause for a second. All right, been at the stop for a second and come back. Usually he doesn't have to stop, but we also usually rest more than 20, 30 seconds. So 4 sets of 10. All right, we're gonna switch back now that Ben's had his fun on that, on his pull-ups.
All right, guys, this is exercise number 3 of our back and bis. What we're doing here is a dumbbell, single arm dumbbell row. So as you can see, he has his dumbbell. Just watch his back. It's very flat. Keeps his hips tight, his core tight, keeps his back straight. As you can see, he pulls up and squeezes right there in the back. As you can see right there. As soon as his arms comes up, squeeze, squeeze. You're gonna feel that in your lats. You're gonna feel that a little bit in your rear delts. So make sure you get in there and you squeeze. What we're doing here is 4 sets of 10, and it's 4 sets on each arm. Now, if you're at home and you don't have dumbbells, what you can also use is resistance bands. You can use cables. If you have cables, you can use a D-ring or a D handle. And basically what you would do the same thing, but you wouldn't be facing downward. You'd have to stand up and basically pull back in the same fashion as Dan's doing here on this flat bench. So as you can see, his back remains flat. He's not giving up any form. He's pulling tight. A good tool to use is if you have a mirror in front of you. If you look in front or out in front, you look up and into the mirror, you can actually see your form a little bit better, and you can make sure that you're keeping everything nice and tight. Usually when you keep your head down, you tend to round your back. But in this case, Dan doesn't have a mirror in front of him. So he's just focusing on his form mentally. He's counting those reps, and he's getting the job done. Now, as you can see, he keeps rolling that weight underneath. It gives you enough rest during that other set to give your other arm the rest that you need. Other than that, there's no rest here, other than a couple seconds to regroup. Other than that, it's back-to-back sets, switching arms. You're gonna feel the burn with this exercise. It's gonna hurt, but that's what we want. Never give up your form. Select a weight that's challenging. Don't overdo it here. If you're one of those guys or gals that wants to do a little bit more weight, don't do anything that's gonna hurt yourself. Just make sure it's challenging. Make sure that once you're getting to those last few reps in that set of 10, that it's burning, that it's hurting, and you're really feeling that contraction. No need to injure yourself. I think Dan here's on his last set. Is this the last set now? Last set. So even with his last set, you can see his back is completely flat. There's no arching, especially of that lower back. That's what you don't want to do is arch. You want to keep it straight. Anything that you're doing with your back, you want to keep your back nice and tight, nice and straight. You don't want to be bending or rounding really the back. Last thing you want to do is herniate a disc and cause yourself chronic back pain for simple mistakes. Okay, form is always number one when it comes to weightlifting and exercise. You always want to keep your form. Don't let your ego get in the way and start overdoing it with weight and then causing yourself injury. There you go. All right, now on to the next exercise. All right, guys, this is exercise number, 4 now? Exercise number 4, it's going to be a high row. We have a pretty interesting machine here. It's a little bit different. It's actually a cable high row. So it looks a little funny, it looks a little different, but it all does the same thing. As you can see, he's going to be pulling back, straight back, and this is for your, usually for your upper back. You're going to hit those upper parts, your rear delts, your lats, and the rhomboids. You're going to be hitting those really, really good. Basically, as you can see, what he's going to do is grab those handles there, and we're going to be doing 7 by 7. And this is going to be a challenging weight. Remember, not too light, not too heavy, a challenging weight to where you're getting a good 5 reps in, and then you're starting to feel the burn really bad. In this case, as you can see, he leans back just enough, slow with control, pulls back and squeezes for a 1 count. There you go. Very good. If you're at home or you have an actual high row hammer machine, that's the one where you actually add the weight. It's an actual controlled movement. There's no free movement in it. You're free to use that. If you don't have either one of these machines, there's a couple different movements that you can use. You can use a cable, and actually you'd have to modify a cable machine to do a similar movement that Dan's doing right now. You can also use dumbbells with an inclined bench, and you'd have to reverse sit on it and basically do this, but in a different fashion. You're basically going to be leaning down instead of back, and you're going to be pulling the weight up towards your chest in a similar fashion with dumbbells. So there's different ways that you can do this. If you don't have an actual gym at home, or you're working with things at home like resistance bands, there's ways that you can do this exercise in a modified way. In this case, we're going to be using this funny looking high cable row. Notice the concentration Dan has. He's really pulling hard. He's concentrating on his back, and he's really squeezing once the weight pulls back. Next set. Again, this is a 7 by 7. If the volume is huge for back, we want to really put the volume on. We want to make it work hard. We want to add some muscle mass to the back. That's why a lot of these exercises you see are high volume. Now, when you're doing this at home, give yourself a little bit of a rest. 30 seconds or less is usually my way of doing it. I usually give myself a 30-second rest. In this case, we're doing it a little bit faster because we want to show you guys, the full workout in a timely manner. That way you guys can get out and do it yourself. But again, give yourself a little bit of rest in between sets. All right. How many more sets we got there? That's it? All right, Dan's done with that. We're going to move on to our next exercise. All right, guys, this is our final exercise for our back. Then we're going to be switching over to bis. Right now, Dan's going to do some shrugs, and we're going to be using the dumbbells for this exercise. There's 2 variations of this to do. We can use a barbell or a dumbbell. In this case, for our back day, we're going to be using the dumbbells. For shoulder day, we're going to use a barbell. But as you can see, Dan's going straight up and down, weights to his side. He's gripping the weights tight. He's not using anything else but his traps. He's really throwing his shoulders up as high as he can. As you notice, his chin is up, it's not down. He drops his shoulders down as far as they go, and then he tries to touch his shoulders to his ears. He gets it up, he squeezes, you see, for about a 1 count. And in this instance, in this workout today, we're going to be doing 3 sets of 20. So high volume. Now in this, with this exercise, we see a lot of people try to go really, really, really heavy. It's really not a good idea to do that. You're prone to injury again, when you do too much weight. The traps don't really need a lot of weight or a ton of weight to really increase the size of them or the strength of them. So get a weight that's challenging, work with that weight, and then slowly increase the weight as you get stronger, or as you progress through these workouts, you can increase the weight. But again, Just keep it challenging, keep it safe, and remember your form. And as you can see, even though he's doing high volume here with 20 reps, he's still keeping his form. He's still getting that 1 count in. He's really squeezing. And once you guys do this, you'll notice, even if you want to go heavier than normal, you'll notice once you get past 10 reps, it's really going to burn. And you're going to really feel the burn. So sometimes going heavy like that isn't always the best idea. Start off at a weight that you think is going to be a little bit challenging. And if you want to go up from there, that's fine. If it's too much, then go ahead and go down a little bit. But just make sure you're challenging yourself. Remember, we're not in the gym with you. We're here to help you guys. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask us. But again, the time and the effort that you guys put in the gym is all up to you. The results are going to show based on the effort that you guys put in. All right, last set here. He's really feeling that burn right now. Make sure you guys aren't holding your breath either. That's a big thing I see a lot of guys and girls do when they're lifting weights. They're not breathing. Make sure you're getting some good respiration going. Get that oxygen in your system. And there we go. We're all done with this, and now we're going to be switching over to biceps. Good job, guys. All right, guys, this is our first bicep exercise that goes along with our back and bi workout. Here we're going to be doing some barbell curls. In this case, Dan's going to be using an easy curl bar to do 4 sets of 10. The easy curl bar is nice because it gets your hand placement a little bit better. It makes it a little bit more comfortable when you're actually doing the curls. You don't have that awkward filling in your forearms with the flat bar. The flat barbell, though, does hit a little bit differently on the biceps, so those are also good to use. I actually prefer them when I do specific sets like drag curls, but in this case, we're just doing our normal barbell curl, so the easy curl bar is perfect. Now, in this case, we're going to use the outer grip, not the inner grip. So we're going to be using the outer grip to really focus on the biceps without causing some awkwardness in the elbow area. So remember, as you can see, his elbows are in, they're next to his body. There's not a whole lot of movement from the elbow. It's pretty much from the forearm down to the hand. That's doing most of the movement. There's slight movement, but other than that, it's all bicep and forearm movement. As you can see, it's nice, slow, and controlled. And once he comes up to the top, there's a nice squeeze. You want to make sure you do that squeeze because without it, you're really not getting the maximum amount of blood flow to the muscle. So you want to get a nice, good, tight squeeze when you come up to the top. So that's 2 sets down. We got 2 more to go. As you can see, this exercise is really already starting to put a hurt on him. He already has a pretty good pump. So we're going to knock out these barbell curls, and then we'll move to the next exercise. Now, challenge yourself with weight. Again, you don't want to do too much rocking. You want to keep your body straight. You don't want to move too much. There's sometimes we'll see guys or girls in the gym who like to basically throw the weight up by using their back or their shoulders. That's not what we want. We want to keep your body straight in a standing position, not rocking back and forth. Remember, this is all for the arms, so we want to use our biceps only. Now give yourself about a 30-second rest between sets. We don't want to do too much rest, but we want to, we really want to hammer the biceps hard. It's one of those muscle groups where you can really hit it time after time after time, supersets and all that stuff in the gym. It's not like like legs where sometimes when you're going really heavy, you want to give yourself maybe a minute or two to rest up. In this case, biceps, you can really hit them hard. So that's what we're doing here. So final set. As soon as Dan's done with this, we're going to be moving to our next exercise. There you go. All right, guys, on to the next exercise. Be ready. All right, guys, this is our second bicep workout for our bicep and back day. So today, right now, Dan's going to be doing some hammer curls, dumbbell hammer curls. We're going to do 3 sets of 12. So as you can see, the hammer curl is basically, it looks like the Arm & Hammer commercial or logo. Basically, it's the same motion that you would use if you're going to hammer a nail with the hammer. So you're holding the handle of a hammer, and you're going to hammer a nail down in. So as you can see, he's going straight up. There's no rotation in the hand or the wrist. Going straight up, and you're focusing on that contraction in your bicep. So 3 sets of 12. Slow, smooth contractions of that bicep. Slow, controlled movements. So first set is done. We have 2 more sets. Dan's been doing this back and bicep workout this entire time, so he's already pretty worn out. He's ready to knock it out and get it done with. So his biceps are already hurting from the last couple of things we've done. And you'll really notice that when you're doing back workouts, you're also hitting your biceps. That's all you like to work back and biceps together. So your biceps will already be a little bit tired by the time you get to the bicep workouts. Again, this is a lot like your regular curls, except your wrist isn't moving. It's going straight up and down. But other than that, everything else in the form is exactly the same. You want to keep your elbows tight to your side. They don't have to be, stuck to your side or Velcro to your side, but just right by your side there. The movement's going to be from the forearm down. A little bit of slight movement in the elbow when you're coming up, and that's just natural movement. Other than that, you just want to focus on that contraction in the bicep. And the reason why we're doing a couple different variations of bicep workouts is to hit different parts of the bicep in different ways and to put different strain on the muscle itself. The more strain and the different angles that we hit it at, the more muscle fibers we're going to break down. Essentially, the more muscle we're going to grow during recovery. So growing doesn't just happen in the gym, it also happens in the kitchen. You got to make sure you're dieting correctly, supplementing correctly. So after these workouts, you want to make sure that you're drinking some protein or eating a solid meal that includes protein and carbs, and staying hydrated. You want to stay hydrated if you can. Get your hands on some BCAAs. I like to drink mine during my workout and after my workout. And if you can, get some creatine, but it's up to you. Again, this is Fit Body on a budget, so get what you can afford. If you can't afford supplements, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. At the very least, I'd say get a multivitamin because that's always important just to get those micronutrients in. But as far as the macros go, you want to make sure you're eating correctly when you're at home. So this is our last set. And then we're going to be moving to our next exercise. All right, that was 3. And now we're on to our next exercise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our last workout for this back and bicep exercise day. We're going to be finishing it off with preacher curls. Now, this is a preacher curl machine that we're using. If you want a variation of this, you can also use a inclined bench and do single arm, just one arm at the top where it's inclined up. You can do a single arm preacher curl, or if you don't have any form to do that with, you can just do concentration curls. But in this case, we're going to be doing some preacher curls, and we're going to be doing burnouts. So we really want to kill the biceps at the end of this workout. feel free to decrease by 1 full set of this if you'd like. But what we're going to do is we're going to do burnouts till failure. So what Dan's going to do is going to begin doing curls to pretty much to where he can't continue to do curls. From that point on, we're going to decrease the weight, usually by about 10 to 15 pounds. We'll decrease the weight. He'll continue to curl again till failure. We'll decrease the weight again. He'll continue to go till failure, and we'll decrease the weight one final time for a set of 3 drop sets to failure. And once we get to that point, you rest. So again, we're going to do 3 total sets of these burnout sets with 3 drops in weight total. So he just did his first drop in weight, so he's going to continue to go till failure. Now, these are going to hurt. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're not. These are going to be extremely painful, but the result is worth the pain. Again, there is no pain, or there is no gain, sorry. There's no gain without pain. So make sure you guys are doing these. You're going to get halfway through and you're really going to want to quit. I even get that same feeling when I do them. Dan's probably feeling that right now as we speak. So, it's all, mind over matter. Finish the exercise through. And as you can see, Dan's at failure there. And he's dropping again here. And he's going to finish this till failure here. Again, mind over matter. We like to reserve this for the end because this is really going to take all your energy out. You're going to feel spent after this. You probably won't be able to do any curls at all, let alone lift your water or your phone. So, be prepared to be in a little bit of pain, but at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it. Now, once you're done with this, you want to just kind of stretch yourself out a little bit. You don't want to get complacent on your stretching. Make sure you kind of, stretch yourself out so that way you're feeling a little bit more relaxed and not as sore the next day, because you don't want to be walking around to where you can't even, scratch your back or your arms can't even extend all the way straight, and that's just from extreme soreness in the biceps. So you'll get delayed onset muscle soreness or DOMS, which happens usually 1 or 2 days later, but we want to just continue to stretch and stay hydrated. So this is our second set. We're going to do 3 sets total. All right, now as you can see, there's no exact set of reps. Everything's till failure. So if you can only knock out 2 reps, then that is all you do. If you can knock out 20, then that's all you do. Now, again, this is to everyone's preference in weight, so make it challenging. Make it challenging for yourself, and again, once you start doing this, it's going to be to failure with 3 drop sets. So everyone will be different. No one's going to be the same. One person may do 20 reps the first, and then 1 or 2 reps the next time. But everyone needs to be doing 3 drops total. And again, it's all till failure at a challenging weight. It'll get lighter as you drop in weight, but that doesn't mean it's going to get easier. In fact, a lot of times, even though you drop the weight, it doesn't get any easier. It actually gets more difficult. So just be prepared for that. Again, mind over matter. Stay hydrated because you're going to feel exhausted after this, and you're going to need that water. All right, so Dan just knocked out that second one. You can see he's already feeling it. The pump is there. He's going to have 1 more set. As soon as he gets enough rest, we're going to give him some time to rest up, because again, this does take a lot of energy to do. Now, for the women that are watching this video, there's a lot of misconception that lifting weights is going to get you manly or masculine because you're going to be gaining all this muscle, and that's completely false information. In fact, weightlifting is a better way to actually lose fat. So if you're looking to lose weight, weightlifting is actually a lot better than cardio in a lot of cases, because the more muscle mass you put on, the faster your metabolism is, the more body fat your body will lose because of your metabolism, and the less fat is stored because you're increasing your metabolism. So cardio is good, don't get me wrong. Cardio is actually very great, not only for cardiovascular health in general, but for also losing some body fat. But weightlifting is a better option, you know, or a combination of both is actually the best option. So, you know, get some of those misconceptions out of your mind, and get in the gym and start lifting some weights. You'll feel a lot better when you do. All right, is this the final one? This is the final one. Here we go. Again, this is all the way to failure. Dan will tell you personally that the last one is not the easiest. As you can see, it's very difficult. It's the lightest weight, but your muscles are tired. All right, and that concludes this exercise. Good job, guys. That concludes our back and bi exercise, and feel free to come back and view our next one, which is going to be coming up very shortly.